What is shaking and baking, YouTube? We're back. Today, we're going to be given the Ether Rba bridge, a shakedown. We're going to build it. We're going to open this up. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see what's good, what's bad, what could be better, what's great. Give it a good old honest college try. We're going to be doing this up on regulated, on this nice billet box. And yeah, let's dive in, see what's up. All right, so we got our lid off here and all kinds of options. I mean, you got your spares, right? You got spare O-rings, you got spare grubs, you got spare plugs even, which is cool. Sorry, take that back. I don't see extra screws in here. I see extra plugs and O-rings, no extra screws. It's kind of unique, interesting. Yeah, so we've got a pile of different airflow pins. They're all marked on the side, very hard to see, but they're all marked anywhere all the way from down to 0.05 up to the Mega Chungus, which is 4 millimeter. Big airflow pin. The Cthulhu 520 had, you know, the max airflow at 4 millimeter as well, or maybe it was 4.5. Nonetheless, it was a bunch. For me, with a billet device, it was simply too much air. But you got your 510 adapter, you got your chimney section, you got your base. I like the layout of the base. I like how there's little wicking channels where you can actually like put your wicks and it holds them in place so they're not just flopping all over. I like that. Obviously you got your bottom. Meow. These O-rings are kind of ratchet. So the airflow pins come with these O-rings, right? But when they stuffed them into the carton here, they kind of just all popped off. Not a big deal. We'll just stick it back in. For the purpose of this, we're going to run a 3 millimeter because, well, 3 mil is what's in my bridged, and I really dig 3 mil for pretty much all day vape speed. Should be mint. Also, it's not terribly difficult to change it out. So, yeah, we got that. For your tank sections, you got a clear, you've got an amber or an ultim, and you got a smoked, which is cool. So you can kind of just match it up. I'd be honest, it would kind of be nice if you had matching bases for each, just so you could be super matchy-matchy. For the sake of this, because the base is black, we're gonna run the smoke section. Not that the section matters. Tolerances are nice. O-rings are nice and snug to hold all that together. Airflow for the base itself, you've got front side. Well, you got front and you got side. So you got front, side. So plenty of incoming air coming into it. Yeah, overall looks pretty solid. Got flathead screws on there. Not a super fan of flatheads, but I'm more so a fan of flatheads than I am cheap grubs or cheap Phillips. So I guess it's kind of a win. But yeah, I don't know what comes pre-installed in here, so we're fixing to find out. Actually, I think it is a 3. 3.5 comes pre-installed. You know what? Let's leave it as is. Let's leave it as is. We're going to take it for a ride. I've had a lot of people ask what this little tool is here that I use to fluff and place my wicks. So, this is a Dovpo pin extractor. I've had this thing for a lot of years. and it's just a handy little tool to have. There's your part number if you want to go search it up, try and find one on Amazon or anywhere really has these things. It's not a necessity, it's just something I have. It's in my vape tool stuff. But yeah, let's fast track this, put a build in, and we'll get to the wicking. Okay, so I normally skip this phase, but I'm going to decide to walk and talk us through while we're rolling. So Boro coils are typically pretty simple to break in. They usually require very little manipulation, but sometimes they do. For this particular build, we've got a 3140 4-core Alien, 5-wrap at 3 mil. It's going to come in around 0.52 from 30 to 40 watts. This thing is the bee's knees. But we're going to start out low wattage, 12 watts. Yep, new coil. Let me start a break-in process. So sometimes you see these installs, right, where the colors are just amazing. Granted, it's not every time, but you have a better chance at catching a really great color shot if you start out breaking that coil in low. Now, I understand some people are like, man, I don't have time for that. I just want to go, I want to get it done. But you also run less of a risk at having a failure at install or break-in starting out low, because you've got metal that's never seen heat or voltage before. Your resistance wants to jump all over the place, and simply if you hit it with too much wattage too quick, you're going to run into issues. Plain and simple. But let me see. I'm going to try and catch a nice little color shot of this. So yeah, for me, it's important to start out low. It ensures the best possible chance of success at install, at break-in, and for the longevity of the coil. I always like to get my hot spots out by going inside the coil so that you don't see any of the little marks on the outside of it. Granted, sometimes you got hot spots on the out, but whatever. So 12 watts, we're fully colored, we got no hot spots. We're gonna go up to 25 watts, and at the same time, we're gonna go back down into settings, and we're gonna remeasure that resistance. We're now coming in at a 0.47, which means we're close to where we wanna be. Not all devices make you remeasure. Some of them are constantly measuring resistance. The 250C is a little bit of a pain in the butt in that regards. But we're looking. That's money, dude. I'm gonna jump up to 45 watts. A couple quick pulses just to look it over. As you can see, we're heating up from the center to the outsides. We got, oh, no, there. I knew there was a hot spot. There had to have been a hot spot, just because our resistance was a little lower than it should have been. It's another reason why, like, after the break-in process, I'll take them up a little higher, is I don't want that hot spot to happen after I've already got it wicked, I've already got it juiced, I've got it in a Boro. It's annoying. You have to take everything back apart, and yeah, it's just super frustrating. So I would rather see it now than find it later. But there we go. So No more hot spots, we're good to go. It is time to get to wicking. Let's try a top-down view. Might be a little better. That works. Okay. So, again, 3 mil coil. Don't need a whole lot of cotton, but need enough. Nice sharp scissors. About an 1/8 mil, or 1/8 of an inch. Just, okay, closer to 1/4 of an inch. 3/16, we'll say. We'll split the divvy. Peel off our outer layers, then shout out to Massimo. A little pull, break up them fibers on the inside. A little roly. I like our resistance, it's good. Now, let's see, that just sets there. Okay, so I'm gonna say we're gonna have our cotton fall and hit our ledge down here and call that probably where it should be. So if you simply just fold your cotton over and kind of eyeball it, I know some people don't really measure stuff. They just kind of chop and stuff and you're good. But if you chop and stuff and it's not good, then you get to start over again. At least if you have, an area to say, I cut my cotton right there at that lower part, and it didn't quite do what I wanted it to do. The next time you have a go at it, if it's too tight or it's too much cotton and it doesn't keep up, you can shorten that cut distance. It's no longer guesswork. It just, it's foolproof. I like that little ledge, but I feel like a 2.5 mil coil may have been the ticket, just because 3 mil has a little extra cotton going down into there and it kind of feels snug. You know what I mean? Like, you want it to be able to absorb, right? You don't want to like stuff it, but so far that's what we're looking at. Kind of dig it. I'm gonna leave it. We're gonna see. We're gonna take it. We're going to take it for a drive. So there we go. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're working with. Let's do a little desk pop here. Okay, definitely gonna have to manipulate the cotton a little bit because it wants to get stuck under the top cap. It's not good. This could also be one of those where you don't actually want it protruding. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't, maybe you want it just flush with that little wicking window, but we'll see. All right, let's get some juice. We're gonna juice this up, and then we're going to manipulate the wicks, get the top on, get it put together. All right. Let's do it to it. Juice her up. Okay. Now this will make for getting our cotton to get out of the way much better. Stop burn. There we go. Okay. Top cap's on. Well, upper chimney section's on. Everything looks pretty solid. So it's time to get this loaded up into its burrow section and its base and get it loaded into billet box. All right, guys, we're back up top. Got her loaded in. I'm gonna say really quick, I took this back apart and I shortened those wicks. I cut them so that they're just barely visible underneath. When I juiced it up, I didn't have any wicking bubbles, and took 3 or 4 pulls on it. It was rather mute. Not really. Okay, so it was dry. So yeah, go short on the wicks, but not too short. .3.5 mil airflow pin seems to be really good. I actually think that the bridge that I have has a 3.5 mil pin. I haven't measured it. I just use it. But airflow feels very similar. We're at 32 watts. Build is clocking in at 0.47. They are 4-core aliens, so you don't get a lot of crackle as if you had a 3-core, but there's a little bit. They more so just vape smooth, honestly. Yeah, not a whole lot of snap, crackle, pop. But flavor is excellent. I'm still kind of confused that you don't have any extra screws. Granted, they are flatheads, so a lot less risk of stripping out grubs or ruining Phillips screws. Typically, with a fresh build, I'm going to run at least a half of an RBA before I really start to notice anything that stands out about something. You've got a lot of factors. You've got fresh cotton, you've got a fresh coil, both of which have a break-in period. Usually for me, that's about half a boro. It's continually getting a little bit better, a little bit better. I think the coil's slightly underpowered. I normally run this in a 4-core staggered around 45 watts. Aliens typically heat up a little faster because they have contact cores. That's money. 40.5 watts. That's the juice, man. No shortage. Definitely puts out. I'm actually getting a little juice in the drip tip, which usually means 2 things. 1, you're drawing too hard, or 2, you're underpowered slightly. Underpowered slightly. So now up at 43.5, 3.5 mil airflow pin. Redid the wicking slightly, so you can't really see it, but it's just setting in that channel. Basically, I took snips and cut it right flush with the bottom of that little index. So when I put it in there, it sat perfectly. So you could wick this like that every single time and not have any issues. I don't have any leaks. Chain vape it if you want. Everything keeps up. See some wicking bubbles. Wicking bubbles are good. Wicking bubbles means that things are working. When you don't see wicking bubbles, it means one of two things. And one of them is going to show you really quick. And that's with dumping your juice out. The other would be it's wicked too tight. And it's going to be mute. So could definitely get down on this, man. Definitely enjoying it. As we continue to go, it just continually gets a little bit better. Fresh coils for me have always had a little bit of a metallic taste to them. It doesn't matter if it's Kanthal, stainless, nichrome, and 90, it doesn't matter. Usually that subsides after about a half a boro, or if you're running bigger tanks, it's usually a little faster. Ether Bridge. She gets it done. Gets it done. We've got 2 upcoming atomizers coming out from Voltrove. We've got the 38, and then a little bit later down the road, we have a 25. When I say we, I don't mean me. I mean us as the vaping community. Mark Mathis is putting out a couple new killer tanks to add to the Voltrove lineup. I'm super excited about them. So yeah, aside from these little guys, although they're nice and pocket friendly, I still always love big tanks. Always will love big tanks. For now, that's all I got, YouTube. So remember, like and subscribe. If you're ever looking where to pick up the coils that I installed in this, hit me up. I'll drop a link to my Facebook page. I always do custom orders every single time. There's no pre-built coils. So if you want something catered to your needs, I'm your guy. Peace.